My father stood in front of 30 people at the family barbecue and screamed it. "You owe me $50,000. Every conversation stopped. The grill hissed. Someone's kid dropped a popsicle. I looked up from my plate and smiled. "Funny you mentioned debt, Dad, because yours just vanished." His face went red. "What are you talking about?" I pulled my phone out. "The $287,000 you owe? Gone, one signature." Dead silence. Want to know how I made that happen? And why I was the one holding all the cards? Before we get there, drop a comment. Where are you watching from and what time is it? I want to see who's up late with this one, and hit that like button. Trust me, you'll want to remember this. But to understand how we got here, we need to go back 3 months. My dad was always bad with money. Growing up, I watched him borrow from everyone. Aunts, uncles, friends, even neighbors. He'd promised to pay them back next month. Next month never came. When I was 16, he asked to borrow from my college fund, the one my grandma set up before she died. Just for a few weeks, he said. I was a kid. I trusted him. He took $8,000. Never paid it back. So I learned to work. 2 jobs through high school. 3 in college. I put myself through a finance degree. Became a financial analyst, learned debt restructuring inside and out, and I learned one rule that saved me over and over. Save everything. Every email, every text, every receipt, every promise. I kept a filing cabinet at home. Digital backups in 3 places. My dad hated that I did well. Hated that I said no when he came asking for money later. We kept our distance for a few years. I thought we'd finally reached an understanding. I was wrong. 3 months ago, my phone rang. Dad's name lit up the screen. I should have known better. "Hey, kiddo. How are you?" His voice was warm, friendly. Red flag number 1. "I'm fine, Dad. What's up?" Can a father just call his daughter? You can, but you usually don't. He laughed, forced. Fair enough. Look, I've been thinking. Here it comes. I've been doing the math. You know, all the years I raised you, fed you, clothed you, drove you to school every day. I didn't say anything. That's worth something, right? I mean, you make good money now. 6 figures. My stomach dropped. Dad, what are you asking? I think you owe me. $50,000 minimum. It's only fair. I actually laughed. You're serious? Dead serious. I gave you everything. It's time you paid me back. I don't owe you anything for being a parent. That was your job. His tone turned ice cold. You're going to regret this. I'm coming to the family barbecue next week. We're settling this in front of everyone. He hung up. I sat there staring at my phone. I knew that barbecue was going to be a trap. I just didn't know how bad. The barbecue was packed. Aunts, uncles, cousins. At least 30 people. I showed up with potato salad and a bad feeling. Dad waited until everyone was eating. Then he stood up and pointed at me. Can I have everyone's attention? Oh no. My daughter here makes over $100,000 a year. People looked up. And she won't help her own father. Won't even pay back what she owes me. My aunt gasped. What does she owe you? $50,000. For raising her? For everything I gave her. The whispers started. I tried to speak. Dad, that's not... How can you be so selfish? My uncle cut in. He's your father. You make that kind of money and you can't help him? I was surrounded. My dad smiled, triumphant. My lawyer says I have a case. Unjust enrichment. I'll see you in court if I have to. I left that barbecue feeling like I'd lost my entire family. But I had one move left. And he had no idea it was coming. I went home and opened my filing cabinet. The folder was exactly where I left it. 15 years old. Inside was a single piece of paper. A promissory note. Dated June 2008. I, Dad's full name, promised to repay protagonist the sum of $8,000 borrowed from her college fund with 5% annual interest. Payment due December 2008. His signature at the bottom. My grandma's signature as witness. He never paid a cent. I pulled out my phone and scrolled back. Text after text after text. I'll pay you next month, I promise. Things are tight right now, kiddo. Soon, I swear. 47 messages across 3 years. All promises, all lies. I did the math. 8,000 in 2008 with interest? 12,400 today. He didn't just owe me morally. He owed me legally. But that wasn't even the biggest problem he had. Because when I looked closer, I saw something that made my blood run cold. And it explained everything. 2 days later, an email landed in my inbox. From Dad's lawyer. Subject line, demand for payment, unjust enrichment. I opened it. 3 pages of legal jargon. Threatening a lawsuit. Claiming I owed my father compensation for years of unpaid parental labor and emotional support. It was ridiculous, but it was also real. Then my phone started blowing up. The family group chat. Can't believe she won't help her own dad. She makes 6 figures and won't give him 50,000? Selfish. Ungrateful. I didn't respond. Then my mom called. She's been divorced from Dad for 10 years. Honey, I don't know what's going on between you two, but your father is in real trouble. What kind of trouble? I don't know the details, but he's desperate. Be careful. She hung up. I sat there thinking, desperate. That word stuck with me. I'm a financial analyst. I have access to public records, credit databases, court filings, all legal, all part of my job. So I did what I do best. I pulled his credit report, and what I found made everything make sense. The credit report loaded. My jaw dropped. $287,000 in debt. 3 different creditors. 2 active court judgments against him. His construction company was buried. I clicked into the court records. Case number 2024 CV 8834. Judgment. $140,000 plus interest. Commercial lending company. He'd borrowed against a property flip that never happened. There were liens on his house. A 3rd lawsuit pending. Then I saw the timeline. He'd known about all of this for 18 months. And he called me 2 weeks after the biggest judgment hit. I found something else. A text message he'd sent to one of his creditors. Public record. Part of a filing. My daughter has money. I'll get it. I leaned back in my chair. He wasn't trying to collect a debt from me. He was trying to survive. And he was willing to destroy me to do it. That's when I made a call I never thought I'd make. I spent the next 2 hours digging through public records. The full picture came together. 18 months ago, Dad bought a commercial property. Planned to flip it. He over-leveraged. Took out massive loans. The permits fell through. Contractors filed liens. The whole project collapsed. He'd been hiding it from everyone. From the family. From my mom. From me. For a year and a half, he pretended everything was fine. But the creditors were closing in. Foreclosure was 60 days out. The $50,000 he wanted from me? It was a Hail Mary. One last attempt to stave off total collapse. But here's the thing. He could have just asked. He could have been honest. Instead, he chose to weaponize family. To humiliate me in public. To lie. To manipulate. That's who he'd always been. Ego over honesty. Image over integrity. I stared at that court judgment on my screen. $140,000. And I realized something. I wasn't going to give him $50,000. But I was going to solve his problem. My way. I opened my investment account. Looked at my balance. Then I called the creditor. The one holding the $140,000 judgment. It was a debt-buying company. They negotiate. I want to purchase the judgment against Dad's name. The rep paused. You're the debtor's daughter. I am. And I'm offering 63 cents on the dollar. $88,200. Cash. Close in 1 week. Silence. Let me talk to my manager. 3 hours later, they called back. We accept. I wired the money the next day. 1 week later, the assignment of judgment arrived. Notarized, legal, binding. I now owned my father's debt. All $140,000 of it, which meant I could forgive it. Or I could enforce it. That choice was mine now. I printed 3 documents. The promissory note from 2008. The court judgment. The assignment proving I owned it. I put them in a folder. The next family dinner was in 2 days. I RSVP'd, yes, My dad had no idea what was coming. The family dinner was at my aunt's house. Same people. Same setup. My dad walked in like he owned the place. He saw me and smiled, shark-like. We sat down to eat. Halfway through, he stood up. I think we need to address the elephant in the room. Here we go. My daughter and I have a disagreement about what's fair. Everyone looked at me. So I'm asking one more time. In front of witnesses, are you going to do the right thing? Or do I take you to court? I set down my fork, reached into my bag, pulled out the folder. I'm glad you brought this up in front of everyone, Dad. I opened it. Let's talk about debt. I pulled out the first document. This is a promissory note, dated 2008. You borrowed $8,000 from my college fund. Signed it. Grandma witnessed it. I slid it across the table. You never paid it back. With interest, you owe me $12,400. His face went pale. I'm not done. I pulled out the second document. This is a court judgment. Case number 2024 CV8834. You owe a creditor $140,000. Tut. Gasps around the table. Your construction company failed. You're facing foreclosure. My uncle leaned forward. Is that true? Dad didn't answer. I pulled out the third document. This is an assignment of debt. I purchased your judgment last week. For $88,000. Dead silence. Which means, Dad, I own your debt now. All of it. His mouth opened. Nothing came out. So here's my offer. You drop this $50,000 claim. You sign a mutual release. And I forgive the entire $140,000 judgment. Someone whispered, Wait, he owed her money this whole time? I looked him in the eye. Your debt didn't vanish, Dad. I bought it. And I'll forgive every dollar. But only if you walk away. You have 48 hours. I stood up, put the folder back in my bag, and walked out. He signed the release the next morning. Dad's lawyer sent the signed mutual release at 9 a.m. He dropped all claims. I filed the satisfaction of judgment that same day. $140,000. Forgiven. I also took the old promissory note, the one from 2008. I had it framed, stamped it in red ink, paid in full. It hangs in my office now. Not as a trophy. As a reminder. The family fell silent for a while. 3 of my aunts texted me privately, apologized. One uncle called, said, You were right. We didn't know. A few others never said anything. That's fine. I wrote one email to the whole family. I love you all, but I will not discuss my finances, and I will not be guilted for saying no. If you can't respect that, I understand. But the boundary stands. Some replied with support. Some didn't reply at all. Dad kept his house. The judgment was cleared. His credit slowly recovered. He started a small handyman business. Worked alone. Kept it simple. We didn't talk for 4 months. Then he sent a text. Thank you. That was it. No apology. No explanation. Just thanks. I didn't respond right away. But eventually I did. You're welcome. We talk now. Not often. Maybe once a month. It's not warm. It's not close. But it's honest. And honestly, that's worth more than $50,000. I didn't win that day. I just stopped losing. I set a boundary, and I held it. Even when it cost me. Because here's what I learned. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let someone face the consequences they built. Not to punish them, but to stop enabling them. My dad needed to hit rock bottom, and I needed to stop catching him every time he fell. So let me ask you, have you ever had to set a boundary that cost you a relationship? What happened? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. If this story hit home, subscribe. I post every week. You're not alone in this. And one last thing. This is a fictionalized dramatization, not legal or financial advice. But the lesson is real. Boundaries aren't walls. They're doors. And you get to decide who walks through. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.